Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the Boundless World Builder bite-sized series. In this episode we're going to examine Substrate a little bit and start to look at noise for the first time. In this episode I've started out with the Desert Overhangs biome, which you can find under the Rare Liquid Oil biome folder, right there. I chose this one just because it's kind of deserty, and so it's going to be a little simple, but simple examples tend to be best in my example. Or in my experience, sorry. So to start with this, at the substrate level of the surface node, you'll notice that there's a join substrate, which I believe is just the same as what we saw in a previous episode where they've just taken a random and you just combine it together and you get rid of the seed. So that's all they did here. We're going to ignore the riverbed for now. I'm going to talk about removing rivers in the next episode because it feels to me like they always have rivers in all the pre-built biomes, and I don't necessarily want a river in my desert. But just to look at this, here's what we've got when you load this up right now. It's got some nice cactus instances, it's got some seaweed in the river it looks like, but it looks like the river, for any biome that I've loaded, the river is like always on the right. But anyway, we're talking about rivers for the next episode, so ignoring that for now. I'm going to go back here, and we're going to look at our other substrate that's been combined here. I'm going to pop open this surface kind of drop down, and you're going to notice some chaos. There's a lot of noise attached here, and noise can be pretty complex. In my experience, it's the thing that at least turned me off of the world builder at first, was just seeing this and having no idea what to do with it. But really, once you start to get into it and once you use the tool that I'm about to show you, it gets a lot easier to use. So that tool is just going to be the blue dot. If you use the red dot, it's just going to delete that particular noise node. But if you use the blue dot, for example, on this min2d, this is going to look at everything that's been added up to this point and kind of will show me what all it adds up to. So I'm going to go and load that up. And you'll notice that the river is blacked out here, so that's gone. But otherwise, there's some nice stuff, some nice randomization patterns going on here. If we then go back and look at the other one, you'll notice it's pretty much the opposite. So pick a nice white blob on here, kind of hold your finger up to the screen maybe, or just keep an eye on it, and I'm going to switch to the other chunk that I had up before. Oop. And you'll notice that they are just completely inverses of each other basically. So what does this mean for us? Well, this means that you should probably follow this example for a lot of your custom substrates, because what they've done here is basically sand is going to spawn on this one. So I think anywhere there's white is going to be sand, which makes sense for a desert. Oops. And then gravel is going to spawn basically everywhere else. So anywhere there's white here. So you've got some nice kind of gravel pits around your desert. If you want a desert with just sand, then all you have to do is delete the gravel noise here and just delete everything else, I think. Delete all the other noise. Maybe to get it spawned you have to use a constant, which is just, will fill the map up with sand, but that's how you would do that. So this episode is pretty short and sweet, just a first look at kind of substrates. You can just keep adding, but then you'll need to get your noise to work properly. But I really think that using something like this where you have the inverse of what you've had before will work better. Do notice that this is black and white, and the black and white can't be used as a height map as far as I know. You need colors on your height map noise. So we'll look at height map noise, I believe, coming up in 2 episodes from now. But at least using this tool, you can start just kind of at the back with kind of just whatever. I would start with like Perlin and Simplex, just kind of see what those do, and then you can use the sum function to add those two together, like this is doing here, and then you can just look at it, and like this is some noise, for example. And then this gets added with all this other stuff. So this gets added here, which looks at the water system, which we'll look at next. And so you can see kind of where that riverbed starts to come into existence. And again, this has color on it, so it's kind of a height map. That's where this depth comes from with the river. And we'll see this again in the next episode, how to get rid of rivers. Thank you for watching.